shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. Might not have to see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with self. Might not have to see the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. That's all you got to do. Wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's the reward. You know what? Money so much, why you get up and go to work? Everybody doesn't think about one of the things that my thing I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my money. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning live with your main man, H Cortez. I am the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my very best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. Periscope, top of the morning to you. If you're checking us out live on Facebook, then we certainly appreciate it. Be sure to go ahead and like the page on Facebook, Financial Health Mentor. Also, if you're on Periscope, then hit the little man in the corner so you can subscribe to the show, and also share this with your followers via Periscope. And then if you're checking us out on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get the notification that we're going live each and every morning. And as I set the shows up, you also get a sneak peek of what tomorrow's show is going to be about. So again, welcome to the show. I love you guys. I'm so privileged, blessed, and honored to have you giving up a part of your day to check me out each and every morning. And like we do every morning, I have to let you guys know who this show is for. This show is for my risers and grinders this morning. If you woke up this morning with legacy on your brain, then this show is for you. If you woke up this morning knowing that you need a game plan for your money so you can put you and your family in a better situation, this show is for you. If you're looking for tips, strategies, not to get rich quick, but to build wealth deliberately, this show is for you, because we provide practical tips on how you can overcome financial challenges and put yourself in a better situation, because I believe your family deserves it. And that's why you're up early this morning checking out a show like this to get the tips that you need to take you to the next level financially. But just as I love to say who this show is for, I also have to say who this show is not for. If you have a problem with money, this show is not for you. If it made you cringe, the fact that I just said money 13 times in the last 30 seconds, this show is not for you. If you think all wealthy people are snobs, you probably want to turn off this channel right now. This show is not for you. And let me say this, as I do every morning, I do not have a problem with you not wanting to be wealthy. What I have a problem with is you having a problem with me because I do. Don't try to superimpose your average and below average expectations on me. If you don't know what a future billionaire looks like, you're looking at one. So if you have a problem with me saying that I'm gonna be a future billionaire, that I am a future billionaire, this show isn't for you, and you may want to tune out now. I know that people have weird relationships with money, and a lot of times because of that weird relationship, they're constantly repelling money away from them and never attracting it to them. So they struggle financially and they look at me sideways because I want to be wealthy. So this show is not for you guys. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class, author, wealth strategist, entrepreneur, father, husband, youth basketball coach, friend, neighbor, son, all of those good things. Welcome to the show. You're checking out Talking Live in the Morning, and I have a special guest on for you this morning. But before I get into my guest intro, let me tell you who the show is sponsored by. Today's sponsor is Bedrock Assurance. All right, Bedrock Assurance is a CPA firm that specializes in helping young and small businesses keep more money in their pocket and less money out of Uncle Sam's. So you can get more info on Bedrock Assurance, founded by CPA Pierre. You can get more information on that at bedrockassurance.com. That's www.bedrockassurance.com. Now, Without further ado, guys, I have the honor and distinct pleasure to introduce a good friend of mine. We've been partnering up on videos and educating the masses for over a year now. In fact, it is his name at the bottom left corner of my book, Financial Health Traffic Report, because he was gracious enough to bless me with the foreword. This guy is really knowledgeable. He's founder of Bedrock Assurance. He's a certified public accountant. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about what that means and what his role is and how he could help you build wealth using the tax code. So without further ado, let me introduce to you my main man, Mr. Eric Pierre. Come on out, brother. Let me do a mic check. Hit mute one more time and then hit your camera and we're good. All right, I can hear you, but I can't see you. So go ahead and turn.
Hey, good morning, Hcortez. Thank you.
There we go. There we go. Welcome, my man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be talking to you once again. I appreciate you telling the audience about the foreword, and I'm also looking forward to continuing working with you. So we have some other things going on that I'm sure we'll talk about today. But yeah, yeah, if you're not taking advantage of tax code starting your business, it's a mistake. We have 475 deductions available for self-employed individuals and business owners. That's not available for W-2 wage earners because the system's not made for people working for other people. You're not going to build wealth. The chance of you building wealth working for somebody else is very slim, unless you're working in a family business or you happen to be in line to be the CEO of your employer.
Right. Cool. Well, let me say this, bro. I definitely appreciate you because I know you out there in sunny San Diego, man, West Coast, and it is early in the morning out there for you. So I appreciate you jumping on board. So as we get into the show, before we actually get deep into the show, why don't you tell people exactly what a CPA is and some of your roles and responsibilities, whether you're working for an individual or a small business or even a major corporation?
Okay, well, so CPA simply means Certified Public Accountant, okay? And to get that designation, you have to have so many hours of accounting or finance, depending on what state you're in. And then you have to pass the Uniform CPA exam, which is a national exam. And then you have to be licensed by your state. So every state has a little bit different requirements. My license is in the state of Texas. However, I'm about to get my license here in California. That's a long process. You know how it is working with state governments. I just got an interesting letter last night. There's some paperwork that my state needs to send them. So that's pending, but I am allowed to practice here in California. So I'll be licensed in 2 states. Now, also to answer your question, for individuals, typically a CPA, when you're a self-employed CPA for individual, you're going to be just doing their tax return. And occasionally you may do some special projects like some analysis and whatnot. But CPAs tend to make their living working with businesses, particularly corporations, and that will involve, bookkeeping, obviously taxes, and we're not talking about just doing tax return. You have tax strategies, tax planning, and then for other companies, you get into situations where a CPA has to perform an audit of financials. So for instance, the publicly traded companies, their financial statements have to be audited, okay? But these are usually done by very large firms because the SEC, I'm not talking about the football conference, guys, I'm talking about the Securities and Exchange Commission. Yeah, I know that's for my friends back in the South. When you hear SEC, they usually think of Alabama, LSU, so I had to clarify that. And you have to have a SEC certification to perform audits. So these are going to be very, very large firms that are very well capitalized and they have thousands of clients across the country typically, because that's required by law to be certified. And then also for CPAs, what a lot of people don't realize is that for a lot of businesses have to have financial statements signed off by a CPA before you can get a loan. So there are a lot of small businesses that don't do that. And so banks partner with certain CPAs. So when that's needed, they call that CPA charge. gets contracted by the business to sign and prepare financial statements for businesses to get loans. So we are pretty vital cogs to the economy here, especially when it comes to funding.
Super cool, man. Super cool. That is awesome, bro. And that's something that I didn't know. We're going to circle back to that, man, because a lot of small business owners may not know that could be a hindrance keeping them from getting finances because they're not having their financial statement signed off by a CPA. But on this show, we talk about entrepreneurship an awful lot. And guys, I forgot to mention that if you want to interact with the show, then go over to the Financial Health Mentor Twitter feed and tweet me at Cortez Springer. Again, that's at Cortez Springer. So that if you got questions for Eric, then I will read them via the Financial Health Mentor Twitter feed. So I just want to throw that out there. But we talk about entrepreneurship a lot, and I know you've recently made that transition from working with large firms to going to starting your own firm. So talk a little bit about how that transition was and what that experience is for you now as you've been several months into now running your own firm.
Wow, it's been challenging, and for me, my situation is unique. So just to give you a quick overview about myself, growing up, and I grew up in Houston, and I'm 6'8". I thought I'd be the next Hakeem Olajuwon. I practiced that dream shake every day, but I never got college scholarship letters. So I realized, like, wow, I don't think the NBA is my calling. So I chose accounting after doing high school research paper, finding something that's recession proof. So I went to Stephen F. Austin, Axum Jacks, and was an accounting major. And during my time there, I interned with Deloitte & Touche in Houston, my hometown. They liked me enough that after college, I went back and started working for them. But, I couldn't take having to work 100 hours a week to make partners. So I left after a couple years, and then I went to private industry. As a private industry, I finally had time to pass the CPA, the uniform CPA exam, got my license. And then I got to travel the world with a company in Chicago called Abbott Laboratories before they split into Abbott and AbbVie. But after that, I came back to Houston, and I just wasn't satisfied with corporate America after another 7 years. This past December, I left because I was never going to get paid my worth. I didn't like corporate America either. I don't mind being competitive, but most places put you in a situation you're competitive against your coworkers where you have adversarial relationships. So I had enough in December. And then in February, I moved out here to Southern California. So I basically hit reboot of my life. And so for me personally, it's been a challenge. It's been great because what I do like most is the freedom of time. I don't have a boss telling me when to come into work. That's a choice that I get to make. So with that, there are consequences for making choices. And so one of the things I've had to learn is that as an entrepreneur, you can't be just about yourself, even though you do have to make money and pay the bills. And, having consistent income in the beginning is very challenging, especially when you move to a new city and you don't have, a robust network like I may have had back home. So you got that. But you also, I'm also learning that if you're going to make it as an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to help others. Where a lot of entrepreneurs make a mistake is they think it's about themselves and they go stick their hand out asking for business. But then what people will do is that they notice if you don't send any back, they will not deal with you at all.
Awesome. A couple things you said there, man, that made me really think about what you're saying. You said that as an entrepreneur, it's challenging, but then you said it's great about 4 times, right? So I want entrepreneurs to know that, yes, you will have some challenges. And then you talk about time freedom, not having a boss, the ability to make your own schedule. So all of that stuff is possible. So while you do experience some challenges, the pros sometimes outweigh those cons, and you can move about and really begin to live and follow your passion. So great, man. Kudos to you for making that leap and committing to your own future and going out there to try to earn your worth, because you said that that in the corporate world, they were not going to pay you your worth. So I thought that's pretty cool too. So let's talk a little bit about some of the tax deductions that most people are missing when it comes to small businesses, because I've heard a couple of stories where we're talking about business owners been in business 30, 40, 50 years and never taken a single deduction. So first, why don't you talk about what is required by the IRS to be considered a business so that you can take those deductions, and then talk about a couple of the most common tax deductions that people should be taking.
Okay. To be considered a business is pretty simple definition. A business is an entity or individual that's in the, excuse me, how do I say this? That's in the effort to make money. So that's all you have to do, is that you're engaging in activities for the intent of making money. That's it. So you don't have to start off being an LLC or S corporation, C corporation, partnership. I would advise people obviously to have that corporate protection, even if you're by yourself. You know, so right now I'm a single member LLC. I'm gonna be looking to reincorporate myself out here in California once everything is finalized, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, for a lot of small businesses, some people don't realize, particularly now that you're having more and more home-based businesses, since that's the cheaper way to go, that a lot of people don't understand that they can deduct their home office. You know, the IRS is allowing you to take $1,500 a year. Most people don't know that you can deduct your internet if you're home-based, or you have a cell phone. Now, obviously, people that have offices, they know to deduct that office lease expense. But what some people don't understand is that you can be a home-based business, for instance, and still be able to deduct an office space. Because if you transact most of your business from home, you can still get the home-based deduction. So a lot of people don't realize that as well. And also for small businesses that are wise to hire a CPA, you can deduct your CPA fees, and also you can deduct donations you make for your business, because that's for not-for-profits, since a lot of times not-for-profits ask for business to donate, and they're getting advertised in exchange for that, so you can do that.
Cool. Yeah, speaking of donations, I'm gonna give a shout out to Young Biz Kids. I just made a donation over to those guys. I'll be helping them with an event this weekend where they're actually going to do a Young Biz Kids marketplace, where they have all of these young entrepreneurs setting up their vendors, and they'll be displaying their goods and services. So if you're in the St. Louis area, come out and check out the Young Biz Kids Marketplace, 367 in Chambers. Cool stuff, man. So I wanted to circle back to that one deal, because I know a lot of small businesses struggle to obtain finances to actually grow their infrastructure or grow their inventory so they can expand their operation. But you said a lot of times lending institutions are looking for a financial statement that's signed off by an actual CPA. So talk a little bit more about how that works and how you can help a small business get their financial statement together. So if they are preparing a business plan or a package to present to a lending institution, how you can help them with that.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So if you're a small business, one of the things that you're going to need to do is basically have a general ledger system. So for most people, they use, QuickBooks, which is the most commonly accepted and widely used one. It's one of the most affordable ones. Now, certain industries have certain specific software packages that are better for their business than QuickBooks, depending on if you have a lot of rapid point of sale transactions or whatnot. But typically what a small business should be doing is using something like QuickBooks. There's even things like QuickBooks Self-Employed. And then you can track your transactions, classify your accounts, and then you have financial statements generated from that. And that's important because banks are not just going to give you money, even if you have a well-written business plan, which a lot of businesses don't have. And even when you're talking about funding, you have to have at least a well-written business plan, even if you're going to get funding from, say, one of those venture capital firms. And now the rules have changed to where that you don't have to be an accredited investor to fund businesses. So I'm a registered advisor with a company called Blue Moon Advisors, and a company like them, they will fund startups, but you have to have a well thought out business plan. You have to have solid financials and projections. And if you don't have that stuff, it will also cost you money because, for instance, banks, I've had a banker tell me that there's some businesses that needed financial statements, and CPAs have charged that business $1,000 by not having that stuff, because you're asking CPA to create financial statements on the fly. And, you know, our time is not cheap, but we provide a value. So a lot of small businesses think that if you do it yourself, you can save money. But what they don't realize is that recent statistics have shown that when a business or an individual does taxes by themselves, they overpay the IRS by $800 a year minimum.
That's cool. So you small business owners out there, whether you have a small home-based business, where you have a small, maybe you're a small plumber or contractor or things of that nature, there's money out there for you, but there's a certain thing, certain steps that you have to take in order to actually get that money. So working with a CPA can definitely help you in that regard, from getting financial statements and stuff like that in order. And it's good for a bank to see that you didn't just do this yourself. It's actually signed off by a certified public accountant, because they are regulated. So when they sign off on something, their signature actually means something. So that's good to have. Really quick, Eric, we are down to the bottom of the hour. But I also want you to touch on a little bit of how you can help a small business person save on taxes, not just when the tax filing season comes. And I know that, you know, different times throughout the year based on when a company incorporated and things of that nature. But how can you help a small business with tax planning to help them save money on taxes throughout the year?
Okay, that's a great question. So helping a small business throughout the year, depending on where you are. So some small businesses, I have bookkeeping contracts with them, so where we record the transactions and perform financial statements monthly. So we discuss the state financials monthly, and also I sit down with a business owner and figure out what is their short and long-term goals. Okay, because depending on that, then I can guide them on how they should be incorporated, because a lot of people think that they should be an S or C corporation right away, but there's a cost of running those corporations. And so some clients, I would advise them not do that, but there's other ways around it where, for instance, you can be an LLC but taxed as a corporation, and that's a lot cheaper, to where in the eyes of the IRS, you're a corporation, but everywhere else you're LLC. So these are kind of strategies that you're gonna get with a CPA. And it has to be a good CPA, not just a CPA that's a bean counter, because a lot of people think just because someone has a CPA designation that they're willing to do strategy. And a lot of small business owners are too scared of asking those important questions, because it's like, look, I just want that, just do my taxes, look, that's it. But you gotta have something, you gotta have strategy, you gotta have vision, you have to understand accounting. Mark Cuban even says that you have to understand accounting, because I learned in college accounting is the language of business. That doesn't mean that to be a CPA to understand accounting, but you should understand basic concepts and not be afraid of asking your CPA questions. If your CPA gets annoyed with you asking questions, cut ties right away. Because, you know, remember, the P in CPA is public. We're not in it for ourselves, we're supposed to be in it for you and help you all keep more money in your pocket and less than Uncle Sam. So you want somebody that's going to be able to talk strategy and also be able to review your business structure. And that's how you, and also make sure that the CPA is keeping up with the tax law changes. Because, for instance, a lot of people didn't realize at the end of December last year, the IRS raised the limit for writing off asset purchases from $250,000 to $500,000 through the PATH Act, and you were able to get all that in 2015 and this year. But some business owners didn't realize that. They thought it was only $250,000. So it's important to make sure that you hire someone that keeps up with those tax law changes, because for some businesses that are growing, that $500,000 to buy equipment, that's a big deal. And then after the $500,000, they cap at $2.5 million, but you get bonus depreciation. So these are things that you want to make sure that you discuss with your accountant, because purchasing assets is one of the best ways of lowering your tax bill.
Gotcha. Guys, we are chopping it up with my main man, Eric Pierre, CPA, founder of Bedrock Assurance. If you're just tuning in, he dropped some nuggets of wisdom on how you, as a small business owner, individual home-based business owner, sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, you're going to want to get the replay of this if your mindset is business entrepreneurship. You want to understand corporate structure and how a good CPA can actually save you money. So, Eric, we are at the bottom of the hour, my man. I certainly appreciate what it is that you do and why you do what it is that you do. Looking forward to your trip out to St. Louis, as we got some plans in the works to record some videos live and things of that nature. So I can't wait to hang out with you towards the end of September. So guys, be on the lookout for that. There may even be another book in the works from the two of us. So go ahead and tell the folks how they can get a hold of you and any parting thoughts.
Okay, so the best way to get a hold of me, there's several ways. If you want to call me, my number is 619-800-6852. You can also email me, eric@bedrockinsurance.com. For those of you like social media, I'm on Instagram @YourFavoriteCPA, on Twitter @BedrockCPA. I have a Facebook fan page. If you type Your Favorite CPA, you'll find my business page there. And then me personally, you just type me up, look under Eric Pierre. And those of you that are on the higher end on LinkedIn that you like that better in social media, you can type Eric Pierre and you'll find me there as well. My closing thought is that a lot of small businesses should, I think everybody should have an accountant, okay? And a lot of people think that CPA is so expensive, but what people don't realize that, especially come tax time, the fees that you're paying H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt are pretty similar to what a CPA charges you, particularly for the smaller businesses, but you can get a better level of service because most of these tax preparers, they will not provide you the IRS representation. If they do, they'll charge you. And there's only 3 types of people that can represent you in front of the IRS: a CPA like myself, an enrolled agent, or an attorney. A registered taxpayer cannot go to the IRS on behalf and get a letter and handle your situation. The IRS will not allow them to talk to them on your behalf. And a lot of times what happens is that the taxpayers outsource that to a CPA or an enrolled agent anyway. So you might as well get the best of the best for a similar price. You're gonna get much better quality, and long term you'll save more money and less knuckle Sam. So that's my parting thought.
Gotcha. So guys, you heard it here first. Your main man, H Cortez, here, financial health mentor to the working class, with my main man, Eric Pierre, founder of Bedrock Assurance. And today's show is actually sponsored by Bedrock Assurance. If you need a CPA, Eric just gave you his contact information, but you can also go to bedrockassurance.com and just hit on the contact us form, and you can reach out to Eric that way. Of course, social media, Eric Pierre, also your favorite CPA. If you Google any of that stuff, this guy is going to pop up. Great guy, great heart for helping people, but it takes more than a great heart when you're talking about accounting and finance. You have to know your stuff, and Eric definitely knows his stuff. So again, thank you guys for hanging out. Periscope, appreciate you, and the hearts, thanks for the love. Thanks for hanging out with me on Talking Money in the Morning live. Tomorrow we have another great show for you. Got another West Coast guest getting up early in the morning just for me. I have the founder of Billionaire Belief on, and he's going to be talking about practical money management, how money management can actually lead to you building wealth. So it has been an honor and a pleasure, as always, to have you guys hang out with us. And as I end every show, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. Talk to you tomorrow. Peace.